Hi, this is Pam from Woodcamper Crafts, and today I'm going to teach you how to make the Nelson hat. This hat is named after Nelson in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Before you get started, you're going to need a 5.5 millimeter hook and some yarn. I'm using the 100% merino wool Cascade Superwash 128 in amethyst heather and feather gray. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start by chaining 11. So we're going to do a slip knot here to start off with. Insert your hook, tighten, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through. That's a chain 1. Yarn over and pull through, chain 2. Yarn over and pull through, chain 3. So let's keep going. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we chained 11, but we're actually going to be working 10 stitches in each row because we're going to start in the second chain from our hook. We're doing single crochet, so we insert our hook, yarn over, and pull through. You've got 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your single crochet. So let's do it in the next stitch here. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your single crochet. So we're going to keep going until we have 10 single crochets in total, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of the row. I have 10 single crochets in total. I'm going to start by chaining 1 and turning. We're going to be doing single crochets working in the back loop only. If I look at it from the top, it's easy to see my stitches. I can see that I have my front loop and my back loop, my front loop and my back loop. So I'm just going to insert my hook here under the back loop just to demonstrate. So there's your back loop that we're working under. So I've just fast forwarded this video just to show you the front and back loop. So you can see the orange stitch marker indicates the front loop and the blue stitch marker indicates the back loop. So remember, we're going to be working under the back loop only, where the blue stitch marker is. So let's get started. We're working under our back loop. We're inserting our hook under our back loop only, doing a single crochet, which is yarn over and pull through the loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your single crochet. So once again, look at it from the top. You can see your back loop. Insert your hook under your back loop only, yarn over and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your single crochet in the back loops only. So we're going to keep doing this. We want to have 10 single crochets in our back loop only in every row. At the end of every row, remember, we're going to be chaining 1 and turning. So we're going to keep doing this until we have 60 rows in total. So I'll let you work on this on your own, and once you have 60 rows, I'll meet you back here. So I finished my band. I have 60 rows in total. If you lost track, you can always count. The ridge would be 1 row, and then you've got like a valley would be 1 row. The ridge is 1, the valley is 1. Or you can just count all the ridges and count by 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I've made my band 60 rows in total. You can make it bigger or smaller just by adding or subtracting rows so it fits your own head. So I'm just going to grab my band here. If you chained 1 at the end, you actually just want to pull out that chain 1. So the easiest thing to do is just take both ends and line them up. You can see this is my end that I just finished. I'm going to be working under both loops. And then this was my chain, and I'm going to be working under just the 1 loop in the chain. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a stitch marker, and I'm going to put it in the first loop here. So in my final row, I'm putting the stitch marker. I'm going to be working under both loops. And then when I match it up with my chain, I'm just going to be putting it under 1 loop. So I'm going to put these stitch markers at both ends just to make sure that it's all lined up when I go to do my slip stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this other stitch marker, and once again I'm putting it under 2 loops in my final row, and then just the 1 loop in my chain. I'm ready to start my slip stitches. I've moved the stitch marker over so I can get my hook into the first stitch here. I'm working under 2 stitches in my final row and 1 loop in my chain. So yarn over, and you're going to be pulling through all the loops on your hook to complete your slip stitch. You might have to give this first one a little helping hand. And we've completed our first slip stitch. We're going to keep going. We're doing 10 slip stitches in total, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I've finished my slip stitches and joined my band. I'm now going to take my band and turn it so the finished side is facing me. In row 1, I'm working at the top of every row in the band. So if you look at the band, it looks like there's a ridge. So there's a stitch goes at the top of that, and it looks like a valley, and a stitch goes at the top there. There's a ridge, a stitch goes at the top, and a valley, stitch goes at the top. So we're working our double crochet, and we're going to start by chaining 2. So when you're looking at the band, you can see it's the valley first. So we're going to put our stitch right there. So yarn over, insert your hook at the top of the valley, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your double crochet. So we're going to take our stitch marker and place it on this first double crochet. It's important to know where your first stitch is when you get to the end of the row and you want to join the row with a slip stitch. So we're going to go at the top of our ridge here. That's where we're placing our next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook at the top of that ridge, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your double crochet. So at the top of the valley here, we're going to continue on with our double crochet. We've got 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through both loops. So we're going to continue on until we have 8 double crochets in total. So the sequence is 8 double crochets followed by a double crochet 2 together. And then once we finish that, we're going to do it again. 8 double crochets followed by a double crochet 2 together. So we're going to continue this sequence until we've done it 6 times in total. So I'm just working through my double crochets, and I'm going to be doing the double crochet 2 together shortly here. So here's where we're placing our double crochet 2 together. You can see our next stitch is at the top of the valley, and then the next stitch after that would be at the top of the ridge, but we're going to join those 2 together. So yarn over, insert your hook at the top of the valley, yarn over and pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then instead of completing the stitch, what we do is we yarn over, and we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, which is at the top of that ridge there. Yarn over and pull through. We have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2. We have 3 loops on our hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to complete my double crochet 2 together. So now we're going to start the sequence all over again. So we're going to be doing 8 double crochets followed by a double crochet 2 together. So yarn over. Our next is at the top of the valley, so insert your hook, yarn over and pull through. So I'll let you work on this on your own. Once you get to the end of the row, you'll actually have 54 stitches in total. So I will meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of my row. My final stitch in my row is my double crochet 2 together. I'm going to join the row with a slip stitch to the first stitch, which is the blue stitch marker. If you didn't use a stitch marker, you can count the chain. We chained 2 to begin with, and at the top of your chain 2 is your first stitch. So let's take off that stitch marker. We're going to go ahead and insert our hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull through all the loops to complete your slip stitch and join your row. So now we're going to start by chaining 1, and we're going to be doing single crochets. So here's my first single crochet, goes right in here, so the same stitch I was working in for my slip stitch. We're actually going to be doing 54 single crochets all the way around. So after you do your first one, grab your stitch marker. You want to put your stitch marker there on your first stitch. It's always important to identify your first stitch because it's used to join the row. So now we're going to do our next single crochet. Insert your hook, yarn over and pull through your work. You have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both. So I'm just going to keep going. You can do this on your own. We're going to be doing 54 single crochets in total, and I will meet you at the end of the row. I've completed row 2. I have 54 single crochets in total, and I'm going to join the row with a slip stitch. So I'm going to join it to my first stitch, which is the blue stitch marker. If you didn't use a stitch marker, remember we chained 1. So there's your chain 1, and the stitch at the top of your chain is your first stitch. So take off your stitch marker, insert your hook into your first stitch, and we are going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook to complete your slip stitch and join your row. So we're going to start row 3 by chaining 2. We now have our foundation and we can start our Alpine stitch. So you can see here, this is my chain. And if you look at your work, you can see the single crochet in the row below. And then in your first row, you can see your first double crochet. We're actually going to be doing a double crochet, a front post stitch around that double crochet in the first row. So yarn over and then insert your hook around the post. Yarn over and pull through the post. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops to complete your first double crochet post stitch. So our next stitch is going to be our double crochet. If you look from behind, you can see there's a stitch behind your post. We're not working in that stitch. We're working on our next stitch right here. So we're going to start by yarning over, inserting our hook into the next stitch, see next to the post there. And we're doing a double crochet. So yarn over and pull through the stitch. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. You have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete the stitch. So our next stitch is going to be the double crochet around the post. So there's the double crochet we just finished. And if you look right below it, there's a double crochet in the first row. We're going to skip that and work in the next double crochet from our first row. So yarn over and insert your hook around the post. Yarn over and pull through the post. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And then yarn over and pull through 2 to complete the stitch. So our next stitch is the double crochet. Look at it from the top. You can see there's the stitch behind the post. We're skipping that one. And we're working in the next stitch right next to the post. So we're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over and pull through the stitch. You have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2. And then yarn over and pull through 2 to complete the stitch. So our next stitch is going to be our post stitch again. And we're going to skip this stitch, working in the next double crochet from row 1, yarn over, insert your hook around the post, yarn over and pull through the post, 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both to complete the stitch. So our next stitch goes right here. Just remember to skip that stitch behind the post. So yarn over and we're inserting our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, and we're doing another double crochet here. So our next stitch is our post stitch. Remember, skip a double crochet from row 1, working in the next double crochet, pull through the post, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through both loops to complete. So I'm going to just keep going here. Our next stitch is the double crochet. And then our next stitch is our post stitch. So you can see this is our double crochet 2 together from row 1. So when you get to these, you actually want to be inserting your hook around both of those stitches. So yarn over and pull through the post, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 to complete the post stitch. So just keep going. Skip that stitch, working in the next stitch here. We're doing a double crochet. So you can work on this on your own. You're going to be doing 54 stitches in total, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. I've just finished row 3. The last stitch in my row is the double crochet. So I'm going to join the row with a slip stitch to my first stitch. So I'll just take off my stitch marker, insert my hook into the first stitch in the row. I will yarn over and pull through all the loops on my hook to complete my slip stitch and join the row. So I'm going to start my next row with a chain 1. My next row is a row of single crochet, and I'm going to be inserting my hook. You can see there's my post stitch, and I'm going to be inserting my hook into the same stitch I just worked my slip stitch. So right there, I'm going to be inserting a single crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. I'm going to be doing 54 single crochets in total all the way around. I'll let you work on this on your own, and I will meet you at the end of the row. I've just finished row 4, and I'm going to join the row with a slip stitch. So take off your stitch marker, and we're going to insert our hook into the first stitch from row 3, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook to complete the slip stitch and join the row. So we're now ready to start our row of Alpine Stitch. So start by chaining 2. And in row 3, we started with a post stitch. But in this row, we're going to alternate and start with the double crochet. So there's your post stitch from row 3. And then right next to it, you had a double crochet. So in this row, we're going to start with a double crochet. I'm going to be working in the same stitch I just worked my slip stitch. I've chained 2, I'm yarning over and inserting my hook into that first stitch, yarn over and pull through the stitch. We have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 to complete our double crochet. So our next is a post stitch. So from row 3, there's the post. You're going to skip that, and you're going to be working around the double crochet from row 3. So you can see it right there. There's your double crochet from row 3. And we're going to be doing the double crochet front post. So yarn over, insert your hook around the post, yarn over and pull through the post. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops to complete your post stitch. So our next stitch is our half double crochet. There's the post from the row before. Below, you can see there's the stitch behind the post you just finished, and that's the stitch we're working in just next to it. So yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch next to the post, yarn over and pull through the stitch, 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we're working our post stitch. You skip the post from row 3 and you're working in the next double crochet from row 3. So you're working around the post, remember, yarn over, insert your hook around that double crochet from row 3, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we're just going to continue doing this all the way around. So skip that stitch, working in the stitch next to your post, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through. You have 3, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we're doing the post stitch. Skip that post from row 3, working around the double crochet from row 3. So yarn over, insert your hook around the post, yarn over and pull through the post, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So you've got the hang of this now. I'm going to let you work on this on your own. We're going to be doing 54 stitches in total, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So I'm at the end of row 5. You can see my last stitch in my row was the post stitch. So I'm now going to join my row with a slip stitch. So insert my hook into the first stitch in the row. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all my loops to complete my slip stitch and join my row. So I'm going to let you work on rows 6 through 9 on your own. We're just repeating the sequence now. So row 6 is just a row of single crochets. You have 54 in total. Row 7 is the Alpine Stitch. Remember, with the Alpine Stitch rows, we need to alternate the stitch we start with. So in row 7, we're going to be starting the row with a front post double crochet, which means the last stitch in your row should be the double crochet. Row 8 is a row of single crochet again. You have 54 in total. And then row 9, you're back to the Alpine Stitch. Just remember though, you need to alternate the stitch. So this time we're starting with the double crochet, and your final stitch in the row will be the front post double crochet. So don't forget, in the single crochet rows you start by chaining 1, and in your Alpine stitch rows you start by chaining 2. You're always joining the row with a slip stitch to the first stitch in the row, so make sure you remember to use that stitch marker. And I will see you back here for row 10. I'm at the end of row 9. You can see my last stitch in the row was the post stitch. So I'm going to join the row with a slip stitch to the first stitch. So I'll just take off my stitch marker and insert my hook into the first stitch. But before we join the row, I'm going to actually change my color. So I'm grabbing my new color here, and I'm just going to put the yarn over the hook and hold on to it while I pull through both loops on my hook. So I now have my new color on, and I'm going to just yarn over and pull through to chain 1. So I'm now ready to start row 10. Row 10 is a row of 54 single crochets. So there's my first stitch, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through. So you've got your first single crochet. I'm going to let you work on this on your own. We're going to do 54 single crochets in total, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I finished row 10 and I'm ready to join the row. I forgot my stitch marker, but you can see there's my chain 1. So this is my first stitch in my row. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through all the loops on my hook to join my row with a slip stitch. So for rows 11 to 17, we're just repeating the sequence. So I'm going to let you do these on your own. So the next row is row 11, and we're doing the Alpine stitch. So rows 11, 13, 15, and 17 are the Alpine stitch. And for rows 11 and 15, remember you start with the front post double crochet and you end with a double crochet. So for the other rows you alternate. So rows 13 and 17 you start with a double crochet and you end with the front post double crochet. Remember, for the Alpine stitch you always start the row by chaining 2. And we finish every row by joining the row with a slip stitch. So that means for row 12, 14, and 16, we're doing single crochets. So 54 stitches in total. Remember, for the single crochet, we start every row by chaining 1, and we finish every row by joining the row with a slip stitch. So I'll let you work on that on your own. You can pause this video, and I will meet you back here for row 18, where we'll start our decrease. So I finished row 17, and I'm going to start row 18, which is my first decrease row. So I've already joined the row with a slip stitch, I've chained 1, and the sequence is going to be 4 single crochets followed by a single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into the first stitch, and we're just doing a single crochet, so that's 1, and we're going to do 2, 3, and then 1 more single crochet before we start our decrease. So that's 4. So for the single crochet 2 together, insert your hook into the next stitch. You're going to yarn over and pull through the stitch. You have 2 loops on your hook. Then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. And then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to complete your single crochet 2 together. So we're just going to keep going here. We're doing 4 single crochets followed by a single crochet 2 together, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I've completed row 18. The last stitch in my row was a single crochet 2 together. I've joined it with a slip stitch and I've chained 1. So I'm now ready to start row 19. So we're going to go just a single crochet into the first stitch here, and this time we are doing 3 single crochets followed by a single crochet 2 together. So there's my second single crochet, and then we have 3 single crochets. Now we're going to do a single crochet 2 together. So insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to complete the single crochet 2 together. So I'm just going to keep going here. So we're doing 3 single crochets followed by a single crochet 2 together, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So I just completed row 19. I now have 36 stitches in my row. I've joined it with a slip stitch and I've chained 1. So I'm going to start in my first stitch here, insert my hook, and we're doing a single crochet. So the sequence this time is 2 single crochets followed by a single crochet 2 together. So I just did my second single crochet, so I'm ready to do the 2 together. Insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, insert my hook into the next stitch. I'm going to yarn over and pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to complete your single crochet 2 together. So I'm just going to keep going here. Remember, the sequence is 2 single crochets followed by a single crochet 2 together, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I've just completed row 20. I now have 27 stitches in the row. I've chained 1 and I'm ready to begin. So we're just doing a single crochet now, followed by a single crochet 2 together. So there's my first single crochet, and now I'm doing a 2 together. So insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. I have 2 loops on my hook, and then insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So keep going. We're doing a single crochet and a single crochet 2 together, and we're doing that all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So I've completed row 21. I have 18 stitches in my row, and if you chained 1 at the end, just pull out that chain 1. We're going to get ready to finish off our toque here. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the end, and make sure you leave a nice long tail because we're going to need that to weave through. So now I'm going to grab my needle. If you don't have a needle that you can use to weave the end through, you can also just use a crochet hook. I would recommend just grabbing one of your smaller crochet hooks. So I'm going to take this needle here and I'm just going to put it through the final loop. And then I'm just going to pull tight and knot. So we have 18 stitches in our last row, and I'm just going to be working through all 18 stitches. So I'm just going to go through and pull my yarn through one way, and then I'm going to go back through the other way. So through my second stitch here, and then I'm just going to keep doing this all the way along until I've gone through all 18 stitches. I'll let you work on this on your own, and I'll just meet you at the end of this row here. So I've finished. I've weaved my yarn through all 18 ends, and I'm now going to just pull tight to close the top. And then what I do is, because I'm going to put a pom-pom on here, it doesn't really matter, you can't see it, I'm going to just stick my needle through and then leave a loop, and I'm going to put my needle through the loop and then pull tight just to knot it. And then I'm going to push the yarn through to the inside so that I can weave that end in the inside of the toque. So I'm just going to pull through here. And I said before, if you don't have a needle like this one, you can just use a small crochet hook instead. So I'm just going to turn it inside out so I can just show you how to weave in your end, and you'll have to do that for your other end as well. So what I normally do is I work in a zigzag pattern. So I take my needle and I go under a few stitches in one direction, and then I just do the same thing going back in the other direction. So I'm just going to grab my scissors here again and cut that end. And then I'll let you do weave in the other end on your own. I'm just going to turn it right side out again, and you can see that we are all done. So the final step will just be to add a pom-pom. If you haven't made a pom-pom before, you can check out my 3 tips to a perfect pom-pom video, where I walk you through how to make a pom-pom. So I just wanted to thank everyone for watching. If you haven't done so already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And so that I can keep bringing you videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.